This video gives an overview of how to use Web Sketchpad's tools. To choose a tool, tap its icon. A preview appears showing you everything the tool will construct. In this case, a segment. You can add the segment to your sketch by tapping the green check mark. Your segment gets placed right where you see it, and the tool is complete. You can now interact with your segment. I'll drag it to the other side of the screen. If you tap the segment tool icon again, but have second thoughts about constructing another segment, tap the red X to cancel. Here is another way to construct a segment. Notice that when I tap the segment tool icon, an endpoint of the segment is glowing. I can choose where to place that endpoint. One way to do so is to drag it. I'll drag the endpoint to attach it to an endpoint of my first segment. And there, the 2 points are attached. Now the other endpoint of my segment is glowing. I'll drag that endpoint here. My segment is complete. I now have 2 sides of a triangle. To complete the triangle, I'll tap the segment tool icon again. This time, however, instead of dragging the glowing endpoint, I'll tap where I'd like it to go. Right here. And the point glides on over. Finally, I'll complete my triangle by tapping the other vertex. My triangle is done. Tapping is undoubtedly the easiest way to place a glowing object. To construct my triangle, I tapped the tool icon 3 times, once per side. That can get tiresome. To save time, I'll double tap the icon to keep the segment tool active. Now, each time I construct a segment, I'm immediately given a new segment to place. When I'm done, I can tap the red X or choose a new tool. For some tools, you'll notice that objects other than points are glowing. But the idea is the same. Place the glowing objects in your sketch by dragging or tapping where you'd like them to go. Here, for example, is a perpendicular line tool that constructs a line perpendicular to a segment through a given point. Notice that the segment is glowing, indicating that it needs to be placed. I want to construct the altitude of each side of triangle ABC, so I'll begin with side AB. I'll tap to attach the glowing segment to AB. Now I'll tap vertex C to create a perpendicular to AB through C. My tool is done. Let's move on to side BC. As before, I'll tap to attach the glowing segment to BC. But suppose I have second thoughts and decide that I'd like to construct the altitude of side AC first. No problem. I'll drag the segment off and then drag to attach it to AC instead. I'll conclude by tapping to attach the glowing point to vertex B. Finally, to construct the remaining altitude, I'll do something a little different. My segment is glowing, but rather than tapping to attach the segment to BC, I'll drag an endpoint of my segment to attach it to vertex B. Now the other endpoint of my segment is glowing. I'll tap to attach it to vertex C. Finally, I'll tap vertex A to attach the points. I'll conclude by observing that the order in which I choose to attach the objects is quite flexible. For example, I'll back up 1 step to do the altitude construction again, but this time drag to attach the point, and then tap to attach the segment.